Stay close, this place is ancient. Look at these statues, they're everywhere. Keep your torches high, watch for traps. Incredible, it's perfectly preserved. I wonder what secrets you hold.
The Library of Alexandria, these are the actual scrolls. The detail is incredible, lost to time.
Hey, I found the jackpot!
This could change everything.
Everyone get in here now! Forget about that, look at this over here.
Oh my God, it's the Ark of the Covenant!
Forget about that, we want those 2020 ballots. Move quickly! Gotta get this open. Come on, you stubborn thing.
Paper ballots is the key. Yeah, paper ballots is the key.
Cool.
Hey, Viking dude.
Yeah. How's it going? Yeah, so it said to be continued. What do you think that means, to be continued?
Oh, because we haven't heard that. This is just the beginning. We haven't heard the end of it. Not even close.
Yeah, so to be continued. One of my questions has been, where they go, where the ballots go, where everything go. We didn't see any. We saw a lot of video on the ballots leaving. All day long, we saw video ballots being loaded and leaving, and then they left. I say, there's one thing, seeing ballots leaving in the dark of night, disappearing into the dark night, makes me almost as nervous as seeing ballots appearing in the dark of night. Right, dude? All right. Well, welcome to Peaches and Bananas. Dude, tell us what Peaches and Bananas is.
Well, Viking dude and I are longtime volunteers of Voter GA. I work for Garland Favorito. I'm his executive assistant, and we bring you a taste of what happens in the Voter GA Saturday morning call. A lot of what we talk about sounds really like Banana Republic stuff, but this is a peach state. So your peaches are your freedom-loving, good, hard-working people, and bananas is everybody getting in the way of our freedoms. And if you have a little video of the little deer and the rhino, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That little deer is us fighting against the rhino standing in the way of our fun. And by fun, I mean
that's a cute video
freedoms.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that little guy.
Yeah.
He is not backing down, is he?
No, he's not.
Yeah, we love that video. It sums it up well. We are, it feels at times like it is a David versus Goliath kind of a scenario. We have quite the show lined up here. I mean, man, I thought it was going to be, short and sweet, and there's a lot of, most of the activity of last week is pretty past us and behind us and well digested, but it feels like that it's only ramping up. I mean, there's more questions and things going on today, and the past blue ribbon. Oh, I'm sorry, the the Blue Ribbon Study Committee from our state legislature put out their recommendations today as well, and so that's in the last segment of the show. And so that intro was fun to put together. We might have to play that at the end of the show, dude. What do you think? Play it again, give it some runtime.
Right on. Yep.
Yep. So that was it was fun to put that together, and we used AI to help us along with that, obviously, but we were trying to decide between National Treasure and Raiders of the Lost Ark, the warehouse scenes, and we decided to go with both. And it was a very cinematic kind of imaginative idea of, searching for, getting those crates of ballots. They weren't really in wooden crates, but anyway, it was part of the imagination there, the treasure hunt for the ballots. And it was funny that they, the scrolls of Alexandria and a Tutankhamun statue and the Ark of the Covenant of all things. They're like, forget about that stuff. Just get those ballots. So what really happened though was summed up nicely in this package from local Atlanta station WSB, and it didn't quite look like that. It didn't quite look like Raiders of the Lost Ark or National Treasure, the movie. It was more of a warehouse, but interesting all the same. Do you need to set this up at all, or do you want me just to roll it?
Well, I just feel like when you see how they're stored, I would have felt a little bit better if they were in those solid crates, because they're really in these cardboard boxes and wrapped up in that cellophane plastic. But yeah, let's roll it.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, is that really the way the ballots are supposed to be preserved, in cardboard boxes?
And those are each county does it their own way. The way that I saw Fulton County do it is just as let's say I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse.
Okay. Well, I know that people's eyeballs are on those things, looking to make sure that they were sealed properly and everything like that, right? Here we go.
To Action News exclusive. We are taking you inside the local warehouse. The FBI raided to seize ballots from the 2020 Georgia election.
Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie learned agents seized more than 600 boxes of records.
Fulton County Superior Court Clerk Shay Alexander says Wednesday she spent hours in this warehouse with the FBI, and for the first time she's willing to talk publicly about exactly how much they seized and other details.
I had to unlock the cage so they could retrieve the boxes, and when it was done, I locked the cage back.
This entire cage is full of Fulton County election records.
That's it.
And this is where the FBI was on Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
What did the FBI take?
They took pallets. They took 24 pallets, which encompassed 656 boxes of 2020 election documents.
All from November?
November 2020.
Shay Alexander says as Fulton County Superior Court clerk, she wears many hats. And at the vast expanse of warehouse, where millions of pages of records are boxed, stacked, and organized. What kind of records do you maintain?
Superior Court civil, criminal, real estate documents. A deed book from September 1887. Military discharges, all things related to Superior Magistrate Court in the county of Fulton.
She had a new role Wednesday, giving FBI agents access to hundreds of boxes agents sought with a federal search warrant. All of this and more are your records as the elected Superior Court clerk of Fulton County.
Yes.
But Wednesday, the FBI was focused on this cage right here.
Only. Just this cage. There was a forklift that went to the top, to the pallets on the top to retrieve the documents. They looked at every pallet.
They have an FBI agent that could run a forklift?
Yes.
Ms. Alexander says keeping boxes of Fulton County election records under lock and key is part of her job.
Once the election is over, the election director, they package all of the boxes up, they shrink wrap them, and I stored the boxes.
The clerk says Wednesday was about work.
As an elected official, as the clerk, I'm a neutral party. I have a job to do. The search warrant came in, I provided them the information from the political aspect of what happened and why it happened and was it right or wrong. It's not my job. My job was to provide the information to them and give them the boxes. I did my job on Wednesday. It's about the citizens of Fulton County. It's about preserving the documents that I am charged to do. I provided the information and the documents to the federal government like I was supposed to do, and it was another day on the job.
Did they say whether they're going to bring the boxes back at some point?
They did not say that. The boxes should have been shredded in 2022 based on the retention schedule, but they were held under seal because of the pending litigation.
Civil litigation at that time?
There's civil litigation.
But the FBI was here for a criminal investigation.
That's correct.
Clerk Alexander says this is the receipt she signed for the FBI memorializing the volume of what they took. In Union City, this is Mark Winnie, Channel 2 Action News.
Well,
Yeah, so I just wanted to add, Viking dude, sorry. Yeah, that a lot of their storage looks like standard office storage.
Welcome to Introduction to Programming.
Sorry.
But
My name is Steven.
And my name is Sean.
Sorry. I started
No.
playing another video.
Yeah. Yeah, so that looks pretty standard. Some of the boxes looked a little damaged. So I did notice that, and that's why I'm being a little bit nitpicky in there, because I did see that there was a box in there of elections, of ballots that seemed torn. But yeah, like I've seen counties use plastic bins and even Amazon boxes to put ballots in. So the way that Fulton County did it seemed like standard office storage.
Okay. All right. Well, just commenting on Shay's Shay Alexander's her name, right? The clerk
Yeah.
of Fulton County Records. I mean, what a job, right? Look at all that she's responsible for. You know, she might have a career, a future ahead of her at the Smithsonian, or even you know, the Raider, you know, the wherever they stored the Raiders of the Lost Ark artifacts, and you know, she could get in there at the National Treasure Archives. You know, that is a heck of a job. It's a lot of responsibility. My hat's off to her. I mean, that's a lot to be responsible for. That's a big deal. I hope she's paid very well.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so too. Because I mean, like she said about some documents from the 1800s, so that was probably like property records. That makes sense to keep them for forever, for a long time.
I keep
like
hitting the wrong thing. dude.
Ancestry thing.
So yeah, so this is this is what was going on outside Shay Alexander's place of employ in that evening, and those empty shelves were now the contents of those empty shelves are now in those trucks that are behind David, Kate, and Jason Frazier. So we just wanted to take you back to last week, just the tail end of the night, just to kind of remember what was happening there and the final scenes there. Again, ballots driving off disappearing into the dark of night. Makes me nervous.
These may look like random truck boxes, but Jason, explain to us what is currently happening 10 feet away from us.
Yeah, David, this is a beautiful day. We've been trying to get these ballots, everything from 2020, pretty much since 2020. We've been told time and again, everything was fine, don't worry about it, why are you investigating 2020? This happened so many years ago. You know what? If there was nothing to hide, they would have showed us years ago. Now we're going to find out. These trucks are on their way to Virginia. They're going to be out of state very soon, and it is time to get to the bottom of 2020.
So basically, it's about 700 ballot boxes from the 2020 election because, again, this is the Fulton County Election Office. Today, FBI executed a search warrant where they seized essentially those 700 boxes.
Everything.
And now they've officially left. This is the train, as we'll say, that's on the way, hopefully, out of Georgia.
In safe keepings.
Exactly. We don't want a judge to suddenly, and real quickly, we'll get to the judge in a second. These are actual people that you know, that you've been fighting together with since 2020.
Yes.
Trying to make this a possibility. You've been here till the minute that they left, and it seems like they're probably going to follow them to make sure that everything will be fine and secure.
We've got to make sure the ballots get there and there are no hiccups.
Yeah.
But this is a beautiful day.
Absolutely.
We need to get to the bottom of this. Whoever won, we just want the answers.
Yeah.
It's time to stop hiding.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations, Jason, and to everyone here.
Thank
Seriously.
you.
Yes, congratulations to Jason. Way to go, Jason. Here we go.
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah, Jason Frazier has been just a stellar peach of an election integrity integral part of the team of the activism, right?
Yeah, he's been right up front, and his specialty are voter rolls, voter registrations, and he's challenged over 11,000 voter registrations that are illegal voter registrations. People registered in empty lots in churches and warehouses and places where people don't normally live.
Yeah, hats off to Jason Frazier, also down there that day. Man who's been involved in this in the election integrity fight for 20 years. And, I got to know him 5 years ago in 2020 was Garland Favorito. He's the co-founder of Voter GA, right? Yeah, considered an election denier, as we all are. But the tables are turning on that. We're starting to be able to throw you're the election fraud deniers. You are the, because the evidence is starting to swim to the top, swim to the surface. And, that's something we've been waiting so long to see. We've seen the evidence, but the trick is getting the evidence, entered into some official proceeding. Or it's not evidence at all, even though your eyes have seen it. You're nobody, right? That's kind of how this is going. Is that how it feels?
Yeah.
Not you. I'm just saying in general, like, until it's heard in a court of law or in a Senate hearing, some legislative body, some official group, the evidence is not evidence yet, right?
Yeah, I mean, like the whole point is to fix something, to achieve secure, transparent elections. And, it's been little bits at a time that we get every year as we go along. We have small wins every year towards that end, but still not there.
Still not there. Still not there. And the legislative session is underway.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to our third peach. We're doing kind of a peach recap of the peaches who were down there at the Fulton County, I guess, storage facility.
Yeah, at the elections hub.
The elections hub, but it's also, we've learned that it stores court records for many. I mean, it's a storage hub for much of Fulton County's government. So also down there was another person. And I just want to say they have become a big hero of mine. When I was a kid, I had a hero named Dr. J. And there's Dr. J. He was a childhood hero. We used to watch highlights of him, and we would crowd around the TV anytime the Philadelphia 76ers were playing, because he was a human highlight film. Much like, Dominique Wilkins is called the human. He's actually called the human highlight film. But Dr. J preceded Dominique. He preceded Magic Johnson. He preceded Larry Bird. Julius Erving was doing it when I was a kid, and we were just glued to the TV watching this amazing athlete. And look at that slam dunk. I mean, it's like Michael Jordan was a little kid, was a fan of this guy, Dr. J. And that was as a kid. But as an adult, I have a new Dr. J hero, and it's Dr. Jan. And we had the fortunate opportunity to present. Well, we presented her a Peach Award on this show, but she didn't really know about it, right? So Here is the awarding in the Voter GA call over the weekend. Here is the awarding to Dr. Jan of her Peach Award, and here's her reaction. Here we go. My new Dr. J.
Dr. Jan, you were our hero. You have our Hero Peach Award, and this is your award. It's artwork that Ty does. And since you didn't recognize his name, I included the one with his picture because I think that you would recognize his face.
That is wonderful, and thank you so much. And it's no thanks to me. It is thanks to everybody that has been a part of this and cared about this and cared about this state and our elections. My thanks. It's nothing I did. It's what everyone else has done that is what needs to be applauded.
Yeah, well, she has been up against loads of adversity. When we first got to know her, she was alone on the state election board without any support up against the rest of the board. Now she has some allies with,
Yeah, I hope she gets a chance to see this clip in the comparison, the Dr. J transferring of the Dr. J hero status to her, because she's a sports fan. She uses a lot of sports analogies in her explanations of things. She talks about teams and how a player wouldn't do this. It wouldn't be couth to do this because it's not a team move or a team concept. And she talks about, like, the first ever state election board meeting I attended at the Capitol, she used the analogy of baseball, and I went, ooh. Look at this little lady up here. I didn't even know who she was. Like, look at this little lady. She's using baseball. Like, it was something about an outfielder playing their position, something like that. I was like, wow, she really knows the game of baseball. So she's a huge sports fan, and it explains a little bit about her resolve, her mettle, her tenacity. You know, she's a sports hero. She's a sports fan. So I hope she gets to hear this little segment where I compared her to Dr. J. She's taken over Dr. J. She's the new Dr. J. Way to go, Dr. Jan.
Yeah.
We'll give you some stadium applause. Yep. And that brings us to our next segment. That leads us right in there, because we just saw a clip from the Voter GA call from Saturday morning. And we got to hear from Dr. Jan. We got to hear a little bit of inside baseball, Dr. Jan, if you're ever watching this. Inside baseball. It's a phrase that's used a lot to talk about who wants to know more about what's happening inside the league. Is a show I used to watch as a little kid. It was a great show. So that's where that phrase comes from. And I gotta juggle a couple things here and switch to a new way of presenting things. Do you want to talk a little bit here, dude, for a second?
Oh, sure. Put me on the spot.
Yep. Always. You gotta jump in.
Yeah, like Dr. J, she has been really fighting for a while on her own. And so in the Voter J call, she told us about being there at the Fulton County elections hub, when the FBI went to pick up the ballots. So we'll hear from that, and we are really grateful for her. She has been up against adversity, because she's even been sued personally by adversaries of election integrity, and I think just groups seeking to silence her. But she is tenacious, and we're right behind her to support her any way that we can.
All right, I've got my system set up to. Yeah, I've got my system set up to share a little different way that we normally do it here, so I can just play right out of my editing application. So, just set this up a little bit. We have a series of clips, and it doesn't begin with the Voter GA Zoom highlights from the weekend with Dr. Jan. It actually begins with the counter argument from Mo Ivory, who is a county commissioner in Fulton County, who's been on the news a lot. Yeah, so we're going to prove, so there's a couple of clips of Mo Ivory doing a little quick press conference. It's not long. And we'll let Dr. Jan's, her position, her testimony, her first-hand knowledge counteract what Mo is saying here, what Commissioner Ivory is saying. So here we go. Let me share this. Not shared. There we go. All right, here we go.
Fulton County is right now the target, the only county right now fighting over an election that already happened, but it is coming to a place near you. This is the beginning of the chaos of 2026 that is about to ensue.
You put that pretty clearly, because many of us are wondering, what is the FBI, what is Tulsi Gabbard, what are they all doing at this Fulton County election hub? What's your sense of what the goal is here?
Oh, I mean, we already know what the goal is: create chaos, create distrust, manufacture a crisis that doesn't really exist. I mean, this is his playbook, and there's nothing new about it. It was not surprising when I got the phone call that they were there. I knew exactly what they were trying to do, which is to circumvent a case that is right now in state court that would set forth the procedure for review of these documents once again, because we all know that they have been reviewed multiple times, and there has been found to be no fraud or maladministration. But he was trying to circumvent a state court case that is due to come up on March 9th, where there would be procedure to reviewing these documents. There would be cost to the Republicans to review this document, and there would be only copying, not originals taken of these documents. But he decided to circumvent that civil court case that's happening right now and to bring in a criminal warrant to seize the original copies of ballots, results tapes, recap sheets, and even envelopes from absentee ballots that contain people's personally identifiable information.
But I don't know where this goes. Like, what's Trump going to do? He's going to claim that he won the 2020 election so he doesn't have to leave in 2028, or he gets a do-over of his presidency. How does this all play out for you?
No, it's a really great question. I think it's really important to connect the dots between what we're seeing in Minnesota, what we're seeing in Georgia, and the kinds of legislation that we saw being proposed in Washington, D.C. this week. Donald Trump cannot cancel the 2026 midterms, but what he's showing right now is that he has many, many tools at his disposal, including federal law enforcement, if he wants to mess around deeply with them. This could well be a dress rehearsal for interfering with election administration and vote counting in the 2026 midterms. And we are seeing it unfold right now in a crucial swing county. We're also watching in Minneapolis as law enforcement and immigration enforcement is making it so that people are afraid to leave the house and get groceries and go to work and go to school. Imagine what that means when it comes time to vote. If you see this replicated in places like Detroit and Milwaukee and Philadelphia, along with Atlanta on Election Day, what does that mean for crucial governor and U.S. Senate races, in addition to the handful of congressional races that could tip control of the U.S. House? And this week in the U.S. House, you saw the introduction of the MEGA Act, the so-called Make Elections Great Again, which is perhaps one of the most chilling and far-reaching attempts at congressional vote suppression that this country has seen in decades, that would go a long way towards demanding voter ID, toward purging voter rolls, towards banning mail-in voting. You cannot look at all of these things, all of these patterns, and not fear for the free and fair elections coming up in November.
Definitely have something to worry about, and this is what he knows. And this is this type of intimidation that keeps people home, makes them afraid that the polls are going to become militarized. I am concerned that that is going to happen, that there are going to be police out at the polls, and people are going to be like, I'm not going to go to the polls if I might think maybe there's a warrant out, or maybe I have a case that is coming up. Of course, people would react that way, and this is exactly what he wants them to do. But I always tell people, I've been flooded on my social media. Well, what can I do? What can I do? You need to protect your right to vote. You need to check the rolls to make sure that you're not purged. You need to make sure that you're registered. You need once a month to check your registration to make sure that it is valid and that you have everything to be equipped to show up to the polls. Because the only way we can fight this tyranny that he is bringing to our elections is to actually use our power and show up to vote.
Well, that was good advice from Commissioner Ivory there at the end. The end, I thought, was good advice. Everyone should do all those things, right, dude?
Yeah, if you move, you want to make sure that your registration is updated.
That's right.
And, and there's all sorts of clerical errors that do happen. Jason Frazier comes across that, and, you want to make sure that you're updated and correctly.
A county that doesn't provide documents.
Sorry.
But that meltdown, that was some slippery banana peeling all over, twisting and turning. I don't know if there's medication for that, Viking dude.
Yeah, they were kind of freaking out, and they were tying all this concern and worry to what happened in Fulton County, and they were laying it at Trump's feet. Like they were pinning it on President Trump. So technically the DOJ is under the president, as part of the executive branch of the federal government. Technically, I guess it's a stretch, but you could put it on the guy's desk. If you want to lay, you're mad at him for want to be mad at somebody, will be mad at the guy at the top if you're on the other side of this issue. But, Dr. Jan does a very good job of countering that with just sane reason and logic about what actually happened here, about the facts. Commissioner Ivory's not really giving any facts, right? They're just reacting. So anyway, here we go with Dr. Jan. Privileged to be able to hear her give her side of this. Thank you for jumping in on the banners too. I'm struggling as it is to do everything here. So here's Dr. Jan, and in this first one, she talks about Fulton County and why there is the need to investigate what's happening with Fulton County. So here we go.
A county that doesn't provide documents, a county that doesn't answer subpoenas, a county that refuses to put a second Republican appointee on their board of elections is a county that is in trouble. And the issues with that particular county go way back. The whole point of this is to look into serious allegations of irregularities and questions about the actual conduct and vote count of that election in order to learn the lessons of what happened, how it happened, so we can prevent it from happening in the future. If that's the point, is the reason to look backward is so that we can learn a lesson and not repeat history again. I never want to have an election like 2020 again, whether it's passing of emergency rules that basically change the conduct of an election, allowing drop boxes to be brought into this state, which allowed for unaccounted for voting methods and actions that have been dubious ever since, from changing the signature verification policy at the last minute and perhaps not performing a signature verification on absentee ballots. Those are the things that are just astounding, and we should learn from those. And if they need to be corrected, if we need signature verification again, or we need to write some legislation that is specific about that, that's where we need to go.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, this is not something that is a partisan issue, which is what Commissioner Ivory and everyone in the Fulton County.
As a member of the board, I don't know if this group knows, but we're
doing this a new way, so I'm not used to the moves here. But yeah, they're making it into a partisan issue about the upcoming election. Are you okay, dude?
Yeah, I'm okay. I just started a share and freaked out for a minute because it changed my screen. Because there are all these problems, and basically what she's saying is that we need to actually look at the records and investigate to figure out what's broken, how it broke, and what are the holes that need to be patched. And if you want me to share some, because I got numbers of some of the problems that are the cause for why everybody is concerned and has been pushing for this investigation.
Well, I mean, we have more clips of her lined up. Did you want to insert that now? The next one is about the obstruction, the history of the obstruction from Fulton County.
Yeah.
With the state election board.
Right.
But would you rather play that first and then go to your thing? We've got 4 more clips from Dr. Jan.
Yeah, let's hear her clips, dude.
Okay. Here we go. Next one.
As a member of the board, I don't know if this group knows, but we issued a subpoena for the election documents in November of 2024, actually on election day of 2024, November 5th. And we were immediately hit with a motion to quash from Fulton County Board of Elections to block our subpoena for the request to obtain election documents. And these were simply the documents that would support the concern about the 2020 election and the ballot images, the vote counts from certain missing tabulators, the supporting documents. There were too many questions that were unanswered. But we spent a year in court fighting the motion to quash. And finally, after no response for a year, we issued a second subpoena for the actual ballots and the absentee ballot oath envelopes. So that subpoena was for the original election documents. So we were not having any joy in obtaining the supporting documents. So we decided as a board to go for the ballots themselves and the absentee ballot oath envelopes. In addition to still seeking to obtain the rest of the documents. When we did not have satisfactory support from the Secretary of State or the Attorney General, we passed a motion to request their assistance one more time. And we also added that we wanted to request the assistance of the Department of Federal Agencies, the Department of Justice. And that letter appealing to the Department of Justice was sent shortly after that resolution to Kash Patel, Harmeet Dillon, Mac Warner, and two other Department of Justice officials. And of course, they issued their subpoena and were met with obstruction also. And then along came Wednesday. In the meantime, we were negotiating in Superior Court, Fulton Superior Court, to obtain the documents, negotiating supposedly with Fulton County. And we were at a point where they wanted to extract or shake down the state election board for $400,000 just to obtain the documents that they were legally supposed to have and have in a documented and retrievable way for us to review and investigate. But they wanted $400,000. The state election board does not have that kind of money. And we were trying to decide how we would handle that yet another obstacle in the road to get to the documents.
A lot of money.
What in the world? I mean, it's the state election board. Their mandate is to investigate elections and to run clean elections in the state of Georgia. And they want records from Fulton County. And Fulton County is resisting for years.
We drove to the back of the
I know
giant
I hit stop right
600,000.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not working out.
The state election board is a board that has oversight to make sure that all the counties run their elections according to law and procedures and do things right. And,
over the whole state, right?
Over this, yeah.
And then they want, now that that they've won a battle where they're supposedly going to be able to get the records. They want to charge them $400,000 for them. It's like, give them the records. You're under them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I am not an expert on government because I don't work in the government, but to me that sounds pretty common sense. I mean, just seems pretty cut and dry. What is going on in Fulton County?
Right. Well, I mean, they FAFO.
Okay, well, the next one is about is Dr. Jan giving us her play-by-play, her account of what she went through last Thursday. It was Wednesday, last Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is probably the first time we've heard her giving her story, her account. I mean, recollecting her day, and it's pretty fascinating. Check it out.
we drove to the back of the giant 600,000 square foot election hub warehouse where we thought the clerk of the court documents were being held. And all of the doors were shut tight and locked. They were not signed or marked, just with a number on each door. And 2 FBI agents were there banging on a door. So we introduced ourselves. They did not talk to us. They did not, they weren't saying a word. They were all business. So Sally and knocked on different doors on the back of that warehouse. And finally, someone answered the door from the sheriff's department. There's a sheriff's office there, and there's an Atlanta PD office document storage area at that warehouse. And by this time, there were about a dozen FBI agents, and they walked in through that sheriff's door, and Sally Grubbs and I walked right in with them and followed this group of FBI agents in and got into the little foyer, and which was nice because it was warm and out of the cold. And we, of course, we said we're with State Election Board, and they, did not comment really. And then the inner door, which is another locked door, was opened by Miss Alexander, the clerk of the court, and the FBI agents were going in. So we tried to follow and introduced ourselves and said, we're with the State Election Board. May we please come in to observe? And Miss Alexander was very polite and nice and said no. So we stayed in the foyer area and waited. And every time someone would come in through that door, we would introduce ourselves and ask that we might go into the clerk of the court's area to be observers. And we're told no, but we noticed that many Democrat county officials were being allowed in, one after another. And we were turned away every time we requested to go in to observe. So we sat in the foyer, and then a couple of state senators came in, and they tried to barge in also, and don't know if they were allowed in, but the commissioners were, and county board members were allowed into that area.
Wow, you just can't get any respect when you're on the state election board, and when you've been appointed by who appointed Dr. Jan? Who was her appointing body?
She's a Republican appointee. And
so the Republican, so she's from the Republican Party? Okay.
Yeah.
Sally Grubbs?
Yeah, she was appointed by the lieutenant governor, I think.
Lieutenant governor. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's legislated how this board is comprised and how the members are constructed, how the board is constructed by who gets to appoint the 5 members. So that it's spread out and it's nonpartisan, right? Is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, they're not there to be partisan. And the Democrat appointee went to the hub too, and she was turned away also.
Oh well, good. At least they're treating everybody on the board the same.
Was turned away.
But man, you want to, these are volunteers too. They're not being paid, of course. I mean, they're volunteering to do this very, very important oversight task for the state of the elections. I mean, they're looking out for all of us and our voice and our vote, our constitutional right. They're there to ensure that each and every one of us, regardless of who you are or what you represent, that if you're a citizen, you get to vote, right? If you're in good standing, and they're just treated awful. I mean, like the enemy. What is going on in Fulton County? I mean, I just keep coming back to that, right?
Yeah. Like I don't know if that was a county versus a state kind of thing, or what. But hey,
interesting. County versus state. That's a nice way to put it, dude. I think it's cheaters covering stuff up, is what I think. They won't allow the Republican on there's a vacant seat on the Fulton County Board of Elections that has been appointed by the Republican Party, who gets to appoint one of those seats as well, and it's sitting vacant, and they will not allow Jason Frazier to sit on that seat.
Yep, at a risk of $10,000 a day and a fine that is put on hold while that's being appealed. But yeah, big risk. And
so Dr. Jan continues here with the story of her day. She felt like that she wasn't sure of what she was allowed to do or what she was within her power to do. So she decided to reach out and call. She called the AG's office. Is that who she's going to talk about? Okay, here we go.
I called the Attorney General at that point and described the situation and told the Attorney General's office that we were being blocked from entry and observation. And they probably wisely said, well, whatever you do, don't get in the way of the FBI people and be accused of interfering or obstructing an investigation. And I think that was wise advice. Now, the actions of the rest of the Fulton County election staff and employees and the clerk, why they were letting in certain people and not us, the state election board members who actually should be in the position to provide oversight, is a question that probably needs to be answered. And perhaps we could ask that of Fulton County when they're at our state election board meeting in a couple of weeks.
yeah. So I hope that she gets that opportunity because it is odd.
It is odd.
And what are they going to do against a dozen FBI agents? Right?
Exactly.
It's not like she's going to tackle them.
Right. Little Dr. Jan. Sweetest little lady you'd ever meet.
Yeah. So we had a question and you had a question, and it's cool that we got to ask Dr. Jan what that was.
Yep. Here we go.
This one's on behalf of a Viking dude, and he wants to tell Dr. Jan, you're a true Georgia peach. And Ty wants to know about the ballot boxes arriving in Virginia because we didn't see any shots or news on that other end. Since what's linked to the state election board's subpoena case and you're requesting them to intervene, do you expect to get any level of progress reports or just a final report at the very end?
Tania, whoever you're speaking for, thank you. I would love to get reports, and I'll let this group know that our subpoena is still active. Both subpoenas are still active. So we are not ready to dismiss the subpoenas that we have. We would like to make sure that they have the documents that we were requesting. So until that is confirmed, our subpoena is still on the books. But I would love that. I'll share with the group. The party broke up about 10 o'clock. And there was a brief press conference by Chairman Rob Pitts and Chairperson Sherry Allen from the Fulton County Board of Elections. Very brief and somber press conference, as you might guess. And they said that they didn't know, now that the ballots and the election materials are out of their hands, they just couldn't reassure people that they were safe or what was there. Sounded like a setup for me. So the trucks started moving away. There were 3 big Enterprise trucks and, of course, the FBI armored vehicle, whatever it was. So we followed the trucks. And there was some speculation about whether they were going to be flown to Virginia or taken some other way. But we just made a convoy and followed them to the FBI campus that is near Mercer University. And when they went through their electrified gates, we turned around and said goodbye to those precious election documents, and they're in their hands. I don't know if they're in Virginia for sure, but I've been told they are.
Yeah, so they saw the ballots off.
Our peach. Dr. J, my new Dr. J. Now look at her. What a special lady. Yeah, she's doing her job. She's looking out for all the voters, not just the Republicans. She's looking out for all of us. She believes in the Constitution. She believes in free and fair elections. transparent elections. She believes in accuracy of records. You know, all the things that that prevent or are supposed to prevent cheating. You know, ballot box stuffing. So way to go, Dr. Jen. Just can't laud you enough for your efforts and I mean, she's volunteering. I mean, she doesn't have to do this, right?
And that was a long day. I mean, I think it was around 2 p.m. and she's saying that she followed the ballots till after 10. So that's hardcore. She's a badass.
Yeah, well, you need to take it from here while I switch back up to the other way of sharing. This takes me a little bit of hunting and pecking here too.
So while Viking Dude does that, I'll take a moment to share what was wrong in Fulton County, and that is in the 2020 election, they didn't have poll tapes for 20,713 votes, and again, the margin in this election was 11,000 for the whole state. They don't have ballot image. That's a receipt of ballots for 17,724 ballots. There's 3,930 double scanned or double counted ballots. And there's votes cast for invalid voter registrations. The cast vote record, that's a list of all the ballots of all the votes taken in, does not match the total number of certified voters. And the 3 counts of the 2020 results don't match. And let me just show you how they don't match. And let me look at the screen to make sure that I did switch. Nope, it didn't switch. So let me share my screen again, because somehow I knocked it out. And this slide. And now you can see for yourself. These are the results.
Not seeing it.
Not seeing it? Oops. Okay. There it is. The 2020 election was counted 3 times. Once the election night count, there was a recount that was requested by President Trump, and the hand count audit of the results that is required by the state. They have to audit one election, and the governor shows the presidential. And these are the totals. You can see them on the screen for yourself. None of them match. And that's why we have so many questions to ask Fulton County. And we're wanting an investigation. Are you ready, Viking Dude? Okay.
Yes, I am. I don't like that screen, so I like this screen.
Oh,
anyway,
sorry.
so here's Bridget Thorne. She is she's contemporary with Mo Ivory, right? I mean, they both sit on the Fulton County. Is she a commissioner?
Yes, she's a commissioner. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she's a contemporary. I guess she was probably elected by the Republicans. Is she a Republican?
Yeah, she is a Republican. She was elected by her district.
So here's more of here's what another Fulton County commissioner has to say about the shenanigans going on in Fulton County.
I have to say that we haven't been briefed yet by our county attorneys, but we have spent millions of dollars in outside legal counsel to fight anybody from ever seeing the actual election materials, the actual ballots, since 2020. So there's been a lot of questions raised. They've admitted there's been a lot of issues with the election, but they've blocked it at every turn of anybody actually getting to see the physical ballots.
I know you and I, Bridget, actually when we first met is because there was a Fulton County commissioner's call in the aftermath of the election. It was virtual because of COVID. You were a caller on that, and you were basically talking on the call about how stacks of ballots printed had gone missing from the warehouse. And then all of a sudden they dropped your call. They dropped your call, and I had to hunt you down on social media and say, what did you know? What did you see? So tell us about that.
Yes, I mean, I was just a normal citizen. I didn't belong to any political party. I just thought that I worked elections 9 years. Thought I was a stellar precinct manager prior to the election. They wanted me to train other election poll workers. So I just happened to be in the warehouse and witness a lot of things of Dominion running our warehouse, the elections group, these NGOs. For the life of me, I couldn't figure out why they hired him, because most of the people in there knew nothing about elections yet. It was very difficult for me to get hired. And yes, you met me. That was after the state board election meeting, because I was frustrated because I reported everything before the election that I saw, that I witnessed, and nothing was done about it.
Yeah. So she is. I was wrong. She wasn't in any party. She was independent and just decided to, serve. So.
Yeah. Well, she ran as a Republican.
Oh, did she? Okay.
And won her election. Yeah.
Well, I guess she had to. Yeah, she said when she first started, she wasn't affiliated with either the Republicans or Democrats, is what she said. So
yeah,
I take her at her word on that. So that's an interesting.
Oh, me too.
Interesting perspective on, another Fulton County official who's saying, "Man, I mean, this is a clown show down here."
Yeah,
basically is what she's saying, right?
Bridget's story, Viking dude, is that she was a senior poll worker, poll manager, and because of what she saw, she became involved, and then decided to run for office. So
the word is getting out. The message is getting through. This guy here, Greg Dolezal, is presently a sitting state senator. He's running for lieutenant governor, and he had something to say on the floor that was pretty powerful. And we're glad to see finally some. Well, he's been a pretty strong guy. He was after the 2020 election. He was one of a few senators who wanted to possibly go and investigate. They couldn't get him and a couple other guys. I think it was 2 or maybe I think it was 8 total. Brandon Beach was one of those. I remember talking to Brandon Beach about this, but they couldn't get the other senators on board with looking into the 2020 election before certification.
So they're calling for a special session for 2020.
Yeah, they wanted to look into it before certification, right? In D.C., the final certification, the January 6th that happened. So here we go. Here's what Greg had to say. Senator Dolezal had to say on the floor of the Georgia Senate.
I want to remind everyone what happened yesterday as it relates to the actual fact pattern of law. And a warrant was issued by a magistrate judge based on probable cause after evidence was submitted. Not a Trump-appointed judge, a magistrate judge. That is the way that the law enforcement process works in America. But we have heard repeatedly that everything was perfect with 2020. In fact, I think we probably at this point could trademark the most secure election in American history. What qualifications we use to measure that, I have no idea. But let's go back to what actually happened in 2020 if we're going to have the conversation. Drop boxes invented out of thin air, nowhere in Georgia law. Mobile voting units moving through Fulton County to 80% Democrat precincts, 81% Democrat precincts to be precise, nowhere envisioned in Georgia law. 6.8 million absentee ballot request forms with a first-class stamp sent to every registered voter in the state of Georgia, nowhere envisioned in Georgia law. If you count the same ballots 3 times, in theory, you should get numbers that match. But that didn't happen either. Let's talk about the recount that happened. 3,930 double scan ballots in Fulton County alone. Thousands of those have been confirmed by the state election board. Governor Kemp actually raised the concerns of the Moncla-Rossi report, and we now know that there were double scanned ballots. But even after the ballots were double scanned in Fulton County, did the numbers match on the second recount? Nope. They were still off by 850 ballots. Not one person here can answer the question of how that happened. And that is a legitimate question. We know that ballot images were deleted. We know that test ballots were included in the recount process, and we have that confirmed. But I want to take just a minute and talk about what the Democrats did in response to legitimate questions over the 2020 election. A former constituent of mine, Derek Somerville, former FBI agent, ran data analysis along with another gentleman named Mark Davis. And remember the 6.8 million absentee ballot request forms that were sent out? They had a first-class stamp. So that means if you filed the national change of address form, that was automatically forwarded to your new address. And they identified reasonable cause to question the validity of 39,141 of those ballots that were cast. They knew that 160 people had been registered to vote from a single UPS store. 2,138 people had been registered to vote from one church in Fulton County. 1,391 had been registered to vote from a shuttered 1,000 square foot building in Fulton County. Lest you think Fulton County has cleaned up their voter rolls, today, thousands of people are registered to vote in Fulton County at UPS stores, storage units, pack mails, homeless shelters that haven't been open for over 5 years. The Fulton County voter rolls have been and continue to be a
joke.
mess. But when Derek Somerville and Mark Davis followed the law and filed objections to those voters, what did the Democrats do? Well, Stacey Abrams sued them in federal court, and they won. Not Stacey Abrams, but Somerville and Davis won. Judge Jones, not a Republican judge, ruled in their favor. What have we learned since then about those 39,000 voters? 12,000 of them have been removed from the voter rolls because Somerville and Davis were correct that they were no longer eligible to vote. 9,500 have updated their address to a new address outside of Fulton County, proving once again that Somerville and Davis were correct and those people were ineligible to vote. Ultimately, 84% of the votes of the eligibility that Somerville and Davis challenged were proven to have been invalid voters in the 2020 election. So let's stop this charade of the most perfect, most secure election in history. But more importantly, and I would agree with my colleagues on this, let's look forward to the future elections, and it's darn near past time for Fulton County to clean up their voter rolls.
Way to go,
Right
Greg.
on.
That was good. That was good from the speech, from the floor, from the well, I guess. Got the well. Is it called the well?
It's a great summary.
That is a great summary of the
Yeah.
voter rolls. Anyway, the voter rolls and the
And the issues.
Yeah, the
with-
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, between you and between your slides and what he had to say there, I mean, put those two together, and it's like we don't have we don't know what's going on. We don't know who wins anything around here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason for why we're at this point, that the FBI had to take those ballots, because we've been asking for an investigation because of those irregularities is the word that that's been acceptable to use. And we've been met with nothing but obstruction.
Well, we're going to blow through the break here because we're an hour into the show already. We're only through segment 1 here. We're going to jump right to segment 2 and jump into this. So here's a nifty little intro animation here. The winding road to hand-marked, hand-counted. Is that the right place? Did I got this in the right place?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, we're done with the voter GA recap highlights, and now we're moving on to the segment about the winding road.
The windy road. We had a little fork in the road down there where it splits. Voter ID, paper ballots only, no machines, transparency, citizen oversight, hand counting. These are the things that will eliminate most, if not all, of the cheating. And that's all we want. I don't want my guy to cheat. I don't want your guy to cheat, or woman. I don't want anybody to cheat. I want a fair playing field. I want a fair and square election. I want a fair game. And how can anyone not want that? I mean, just regular folks. The folks. There's more of us who are just the folks and there are those who have massive money interest out there. Why can't we get together on this and agree on this and unite? I don't care what kind of flag you fly. Can't we unite on that? That if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. But we know it was fair and square.
Yeah. Right.
Give myself a little.
Yeah, dude.
All right. So today we had some news come out. We had I gotta mix some sound effects here. So that we came up with this a while back when the Georgia House Blue Ribbon Study Committee on Elections was formed, and I actually went to one of these as they made their tour around Georgia, and just gonna say that it's slow moving and it's very banana like in these.
Yeah.
In any kind of government progress. So a lot of bananas. A lot of peaches too. There were a lot of peaches, but mostly the bananas were the ones running it. So anyway, dude, why don't you set this up here a little bit while I load up your slides?
Yeah. So the Blue Ribbon Study Committee met from July to October, and they visited 6 locations around the state, and some of our friends kind of felt like this was really a campaigning tour that they did on using the study committee as an excuse. And their report came out, and it kind of didn't, it fell short of expectations. So for a group that they did all that touring over all that time, what they came up with didn't even fill half a page. They just have
so it's a 3-page PDF, and there are 3 recommendations.
Yeah, the intro was longer than the recommendations. And the first recommendation that they came up with was to keep the meetings going till December 31st, 2026, so that they can keep touring the state and campaigning for themselves. I'm kidding about that last part, or maybe not. Thank you, Viking dude.
Good one. It's a good one.
Option number 2, or not option, recommendation number 2, was that they're recommending that we have optional pre-printed ballots for Election Day and hand counts for the QR code ballots. And I fudged that a little bit when I said it, Viking dude. Should I explain that a little bit, or
sure.
Are we good? Yeah, so they're recommending that counties provide the option to voters to have pre-printed ballots, hand-marked ballots for Election Day, and that ballots that are printed on the QR code ballot that we all know and don't love, get those ballots hand-counted. And their recommendation number 3 is that the legislature needs to decide on a new statewide system this year and come up with and procure the funding for 2027. So that...
I don't have a can kicking. I need to get a can kicking sound effect of a can being kicked, right?
Yeah. And going along with this, what's the opposite of breathtaking?
Of breathtaking, boring,
underwhelming.
Underwhelming, yes. Underwhelming, yes. There you go.
We had the drop of a proposal language to Senate Bill 214.
Is it time for this one? Are you talking about this now? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to. So good. Senate Bill 214 was a bill that was introduced last year that was to provide for the on-demand printing ballots, and those would be ballots that can be hand counted. Sorry, not hand counted, hand filled. So it was the hand marked paper ballot bill from last year using those on-demand ballot printing machines. And so there was this revision so that for election day, or well, I have it in the order of your slides, so that for early voting, people will vote on the same BMDs with the QR code ballots, and those ballots will be hand counted.
The machines are not certifiable. The machines are connected to the internet. The machines, the tabulators for the machines are error prone. I mean, we have much, we've uncovered so much evidence. They're using them for early voting. Most of the voting is early voting.
You're a little early, Viking dude, because they're giving us with this one of the things that we want. They're giving us hand counts of the early voting ballots.
Oh, okay. So no QR code reading by tabulators?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. So the official counts would be, the official tabulation would be hand counting ballots that look just like that. And part 2 of the bill was that for election day, you get hand-marked paper ballots that look a lot like our mail-in ballots, and that's our other page in your
okay. Well, before we get jumped over, hand counting these ballots is a strain on the eyes. This is not a good idea, in my opinion. Hand counting these ballots is a strain on the eyes. There are better ballot forms for hand counting. Better designed forms.
Yes.
This is it's a setup for failure. It's a setup for complaints. It's a setup for election workers to complain, election counters to go, my eyes are watering. I need a break.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
This is ridiculous. I don't agree with them. The blue ribbon. It is the Pabst Blue Ribbon Committee, right?
Yeah. So they say that the ballots can be scanned as unofficial results.
Yeah.
But
I don't like it.
the tabulated ballots for the official results would be hand counted.
Don't like it.
Yeah, so we have an unsecure ballot with the hand counts. And then for election day, they get hand-marked paper ballots, which this is what they look like in the States, like what we have for the mail-ins. And those are the ones that you fill in the bubble for the candidate that you want. But then those would be scanned by machine on election day. So this is where, we have the hand-marked paper ballots that we want, but an unsecure way of counting them.
They are really. I mean, they're smoking joints before their meetings or something. I mean, they're just stoned out of their minds. This is crazy, in my opinion. I don't see how this works. This is like we need to overhaul it all. Even this form here, counting this form. I mean, this one's designed to run through an optical scanner. Is what this is designed for. Which is how you're saying it's going to be counted. It's going to be run through an optical scanner.
Yeah. Yeah, so the counties would get a choice to either pre-print the ballots or have an on-demand ballot printer. And to go with that, they assigned the state election board with a grant program for counties that needed to apply grants to obtain those. And they are also extending certification another week. So instead of having a certification deadline for the Monday after election day, it would be two Mondays after. And so they would have time for hand counting. But yeah, it kind of was going to be talked about at a meeting that was scheduled today at 3, and that meeting was canceled. We don't know why, but there is speculation that it might have been because it upset a lot of people to see that bill, and because it's quite messy. You would have to train the election staff to do things one way for early voting, and then differently for election day. And yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we need to segue into what we're calling segment 3, but I think it's just an extension of segment 2 here. It's about the hand count. Are you good to move on, dude?
Yeah, because something that we did and you and I worked on was hand count. Yeah.
Do you want to roll that? Do you want? Yeah. I mean, you sure you want to roll the video? You want to roll that, or do you want to go right into the? I mean, we're talking about better ballots, and in the hand count video we were counting those BMD printouts.
Yeah, we counted the BMD printouts,
right,
and let's talk about what you did. Yeah.
Okay, we'll set it up.
Yeah, so we've been advocating for hand counted elections, and there were different demonstrations of hand counts going on around the country, but I noticed that what they were doing would never work with our QR coded ballots or our BMD printed ballots with the QR code on the top and that summary on the bottom. And we saw that a few minutes ago. And so we did a test of something that I came up with, that I combined what I saw of the different methods of hand counting and applied it to Georgia law, and we tested it in Cherokee, and we've done a couple more tests and trainings since then. But let's roll the video, and you can see a sample of Viking Dude's work.
Yeah, I produced the video. Tania Dude executive produced the video, and this was over 3 months of coordination and effort and training volunteers. And, I think we had 12 or 15 cameras in there mounted on the ceiling. We had a couple on tripods, and we had microphones pointed at every table. It was a big production to gather. What we were trying to gather up was not just surveillance style type footage, but also footage that was interesting with camera moves, so that we could present this in a way that would grab attention, so that it wasn't so boring. So hopefully you're not bored by this.
Machines.
Let me back it up.
Voting machines. They've proven to be unreliable, and they've diminished voter confidence. We need voting results that we can trust. And in this case, seeing is believing. Ballots hand-counted in public. Election officials in Georgia have relied on voting machines to produce election results for over 20 years. They argue that hand-counting ballots would take too long, and that people are more prone to errors than the machines. Well, we set out to test if we could produce a precinct's results by the end of election night accurately by hand-counting general election ballot images. Could it be done? Here's the spoiler. The count was 100% accurate. Our methods. We planned and executed a hand count of a real general election that complies with OCGA 21-2-437. This is the Cherokee method, created by Tania Sosa. We selected to count Election Day ballot images from the 2022 general election from the R.T. Jones precinct in Cherokee County, Georgia. 4 teams, A, B, C, and D, comprised of 4 volunteers each, conducted the counting, each team with 2 readers and 2 counters. A 5th team of guardians were responsible for maintaining chain of custody records, distributing the ballot batches to be counted, and then collecting the final tallies. Together, they formed 2 closed systems, one side handling the ballots, the other counting them, all in plain view and in the presence of poll watchers. Our procedure. All volunteers received 2.5 hours of training. Then at 6:30 p.m., 419 ballots were delivered in a sealed container to the Guardian's table. The seals were verified, documented, and then the ballots were unsealed. The ballots were divided into batches of 50, and then they were delivered to the 4 counting teams, each with corresponding chain of custody documentation to always guarantee tracking of every ballot handled. The readers received the ballots and began their count. One volunteer called out the candidates selected on each ballot, while another volunteer diligently observed and verified that the call was correct. The remaining two volunteers at the table carefully marked every vote to a tally sheet as the votes were verbally announced. After the last ballot was read,
Yes.
the counters then verified their tallies, comparing one against the other. The teams continued their count until all ballots, separated into 9 batches, were completely counted. The results. For this general election, there were 16 candidate races, 2 amendments, 2 referendums, and 2 questions, a 22-item ballot. On average, the 4-person teams were able to count each 50-ballot batch within 49 minutes, roughly 1 minute per ballot. 2 of the 9 batches were recounted after the totals from the counters didn't match in 3 of the races. Only those races that did not match were recounted. The recount and the reconciling for those 3 races took an average of 8 minutes per batch. The turnaround for each batch of 50 ballots was an average of 1 hour, which includes the time that each batch was received, counted, and the tallies verified. 4 teams was enough to finish counting this precinct on election night. For larger precincts, the number of teams would need to be increased. The entire process, from opening the sealed ballot box to sealing the ballots at the end of the count and reporting the results, consumed a total of 2 hours and 40 minutes. The total time could be nearly cut in half by only requiring the counting of federal and statewide races on election night.
Different attorneys announced that all the results matched, so the counting was...
The method worked. The redundant counting caught the errors there would have been, and the final count at 9:14 p.m. was exactly right. Had this been election night, the final tally would have been delivered accurately and on time. This was the first test of a Georgia hand count, using real ballot images, cast in a real general election, nearly perfect in every way. From the training, to the ballot handling, to the counting and the tallying. This test was a stunning success. Accurate, timely, no machines, just paper. And for a fraction of the cost, pay people to count. After all, it's their money.
Yeah, dude. Good job.
Yeah, let me pull the... I like this song. Yeah.
It's a good choice. And, you know, I was so proud of that team, and everybody was, you know, through the training and that day, like I actually planned that counting on people not showing up. So I had extra people in there, and everybody was trained to step in if somebody had to leave early or didn't show up, but everybody was there and they stuck around and till the very end. So you know, the dedication just of everybody was just amazing.
Yeah, I'm rolling the credits here. Here, maybe we should go bigger and let the people who there were a lot of people involved in this, and Tania, dude, has an amazing superpower. It's getting volunteers to get behind something that's worthwhile. I mean, she got me to get behind it, and that's a tall task right there.
Yeah, and I consulted with elections workers, some board of election members, and elections directors in putting it together, because I wanted it to comply with the law, and we had chain of custody. So we kept chain of custody as if it was a real election and the timing of a real election. But it was worrying because, like you said, the ballot isn't very friendly. So we had ballots printed for that from using ballot images, and they're all in great shape. But when we worked a real election, we could see that they don't necessarily print all that great. They're hard to read, and it was a little bit worrying too because the numbers don't help us. So when I told Garland, and I'm like all excited because we did this exercise that we came up with numbers very similar to hand counts across the country. So I'm like, okay, the experiment was great. We came out perfect at the end of the day, and it was to the timing that we expected to do. And it's just, Garland told me, well, those numbers don't sell. And there's a question on how do other countries provide results by election night. And so, everybody, they talk about France, they talk about Germany. And I'm like, well, I grew up in a place where elections were done by hand count. Yeah. And they're not counted by hand anymore for election night, but the ballots are still designed for hand counting. So
I want to give you I want to go. I want to. Who do we talk to? Where do we find out how to do this? Right here. That's who we talk to. And here's why. Here we go. Let me see. I'm not ready.
Why?
Here we go. Boom. This is a pro-statehood party leads Puerto Rico in race. This is an article about someone who won the election, right? And let me zoom in on what she's holding in her hand there. Whoop.
Yeah.
Wrong window here. Hold on. Let me zoom in.
Yeah, zoom in, dude.
Let me go up here. What she's holding there. She's holding a hand-marked paper ballot. And what's fascinating about this, dude, tell us.
It's friendly to count on election night. So when everybody talks about how does France do it, how does Germany do it, they have, unlike our ballot that has 16, 20, 25 races on it, the ballots for hand counting are not that loaded. And so if you see her ballot, and we'll get a close-up of what
let's take a closer look at what
Yeah.
she's holding in her hand there, because this has all kinds of common sense on just, it's like we have to teleport back to a day when all we had was paper, and how they made paper easier to handle and manage and count, and how you divide it out, right? Divide it out.
Yeah.
It's kind of the concept. I'm giving it away a little bit, but here we go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, that is the ballot that she's holding. It only has 2 races on it. And the way that you mark it is, so there's 2 options. You can mark one of the symbols across the top, and that means that you're voting for everybody in the same party in that ballot. Or you can make your mark for the individual candidates.
Let's stop and illustrate here a little bit. I don't know if people can see my mouse moving.
Okay.
But these are the boxes for marking just down ticket party, right?
Yeah.
These boxes up top. So you got 5 parties.
Right.
I mean, I love it. I wish we had more. I wish we had 5 parties to choose from on our elections. But anyway, I love the graphical nature of this. If we zoom in, maybe I can zoom in a little bit more.
Yeah, zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, we can see that the candidates are all, their faces are all there. And maybe you're a low information person, maybe tunes in when you have a little bit of time in the day, or you heard an ad, or you saw somebody speak, or you like what they said, but you don't remember their name because you're not that dialed in, but you remember the face. I mean, I just look at that. And Jennifer Gonzalez won, right?
Yeah, that's the current governor. Yeah.
Is that because she was in the first slot in the very first race in the very top left corner?
She was actually. We expected the other party to win because
So it was an upset.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an upset. Yeah.
Okay,
but she was better known.
So check this out. I mean, this is human-friendly ballots. I mean, I love it, dude. I love it. Human-friendly ballots. Look at that. So this is just the race for governor on one piece of paper.
Yeah. So if you're counting this, what they do is that they go over whoever marked ballots on the top, and they'll call out those results. If you voted for the candidate separately, then they'll call out the names that way. But they're keeping track of 2 races at the time when they count this ballot. Not complicated, right?
Right. And so this looks like it looks like it's set up, designed. So you say they hand count it, but it looks like it's set up with the optical scanning.
Yeah.
Marks.
Now they currently count by machine.
Okay.
But they didn't change the ballot. So 12 years ago, when they hand counted ballots, it looked the same. It was the same system because they'll still hand count after election night. But the last time that they did hand counts, the population, the electorate was for 2 million people. So they would come up with results for 2 million people at the end of election day. One of the reasons why I wanted to show you Puerto Rico was because other countries have different governments. Puerto Rico follows the U.S. Constitution, so all the positions are similar.
Yeah.
And so it's something that, like when they talk about France and other countries, they'll say, well, they just count one race. They have one race at a time. And I'm not really familiar with our governments, but I can tell you about Puerto Rico that they have multiple races too. Not as many as in the States. And what they do is that they have a different page for the different kind of ballots. So in the first ballot, you saw the statewide races that were for governor and the resident commissioner that everybody votes for. And this was the ballot for president for your
I'm surprised it
president.
doesn't. I'm surprised that it doesn't say Il Donato Trumpo right there. Oh, that's an X account. That's a parody account for the president. But anyway, a Latin parody account. It's a pretty funny account. But so you've got this. So this PDF has more pages here.
Yeah.
So that was the race for governor and the race for president on their own piece of paper.
Yep.
So you could give that stack. You could give that stack to a counting team, and they're just counting one race. They're not going through like we did it at our hand count demonstration in the video, where the team had to count the entire ballot all the way down. You give a team one race. I just think, to me, in my simple mind, that is clicking as something that I could do and not screw it up and make the team mad at me.
Yeah. So the different races have different color pages.
Yeah.
So if you saw the previous page was purple, this one's yellow.
Yeah.
The governor
so gray, purple, yellow. I love it.
And these are mayor. This is the municipal.
I feel like I'm in a cantina, Mexican cantina with the colors. All right.
Yeah. So these are your
Puerto Rican.
Yeah, that's a municipal ballot. It's got 2 races on it and a lot of people.
Okay, so it's got 2 races. Let's explain this. So I'm looking at one piece of paper here.
Yeah.
Let me back out a little bit more so we can see that it's one piece of paper. Explain this. So you say it's got 2 races. I'm not seeing 2 races on this. I'm seeing 4. Okay.
Yeah, so you see the 4 parties on the top, or I guess 5.
They all say mayor.
Yeah, because they're all running for mayor. That very first row are mayors.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay, I see.
And
I
then
got it.
after that, you get a municipal legislator.
Yeah. So you don't. All right. So unless you're running for mayor or president or governor, you don't get your picture on the ballot.
For that one, you don't. But
I like the pictures. I'm like, man, that's
yeah.
because I'm a photographer, and we will get more business, and they'll be seeking out the people who want to light you correctly, who want to, get you to, go ahead and turn a little bit, maybe do this, and maybe do this, and photographers, good photographers will get more business. But anyway, but yeah, that's
yeah. So you put your X at the top if you want to vote for everybody on the same party.
So legislators.
But
So
your
okay.
legislator-
So do you vote for 14? Like you're picking 14, right?
You're picking one from those 14.
Municipal legislator.
Yeah.
There's 1 through 14 here, 1 through 14 here. 1
Yeah,
through
just how
14
many?
here.
Yeah, however many candidates signed up. So I don't think that there are 14 for all of the parties.
So there's
one of them
1,
only
2,
have
3,
7.
4, 5 races here. There's nobody over here. Okay,
There's
so there's
2 races. There's 2 races.
okay. I think you're going to have to explain this sheet a little bit better at a later time. We're running long.
Okay. Yeah, because it's just 2 races, and you get to pick one of however many people are in the party that you want. So
you get to pick 4 from you get 1 from each column.
no.
You only
No,
get to pick 1 out of all of these?
You get to pick 1 mayor, and you get to pick 1 legislator. The columns are parties.
Okay. So
So
there's
think
that
of
many
it-
people running for
that-
legislator in the party. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a jungle primary right there.
Oh, okay. All right, back off of this a little bit. We'll show this one.
Yeah. And this one has more races on it. It's got 4 races, and that's the biggest number of races that you would see on a ballot.
Okay, 4 races on this.
Yeah, and this was the legislative ballot, where you can either mark off the top your party and then select the person that you want. If you mark the party on the top, that helps with the projections. But yeah, that's what you did. You just pick 1 person for each race. So it's still a little like there is room for error, but these one get pictures Viking did.
Yeah. So, all right. So, like, not everybody in this column is the same party, are they? Or they are. Everybody in this column is.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So everybody down below the party logo is in that party.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
And then there was a question that is in the extra page on the last page.
Yeah.
that you have.
Representative, senator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Man, Puerto Rico. Wow. Why aren't we looking into one of our territories? They're trying to figure it out down there.
Yeah, and that's a question that they had on the ballot where they got to vote for their preference of status, if they wanted to vote for statehood, independence, or remain with the same status that we have now, the free association.
Estadidad.
Yeah.
Independencia.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
each voter.
What's soberanía en libre asociación con los Estados Unidos?
Well, the ballot is bilingual, so it says it in English right underneath. It's
Okay. Let me
translated.
zoom in here. I can't. Sovereignty and free association with the United States. Okay. I don't understand how that's different from the one in the middle, but okay. It seems like they're all interrelated there. Like it seems like the same question asked three ways. I don't know.
Well, you get to choose once. You get to choose if you
I
want to
see.
be a
Yeah,
state
statehood or
independence
independence, or this is the status quo right here, the circle. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, but
Got
what
it.
happens when you go to vote is that you get all these pieces of paper. So there's more paper, and then when you take the
I don't know,
ballots
dude. I don't know.
to the ballot box,
Paper costs. Paper costs.
not as much as machines.
I know, but we like to say the cost of paper. If you're a banana, a snaily banana legislator. Anyway, that's really cool. I love the color coding. I love the pictures. I love the organization by party. It could be a little bit argued who gets the first slot, on the left.
Yeah, I think that the incumbent party for governor gets the first slot. So the previous governor was for
and then everybody
that
else
party.
draws straws or rolls dice. I mean, how do they determine the rest?
Well, the second party
Lottery,
is the
like a lottery or something. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think it's by the results of the last election. So the party that came in second in the last election for governor comes in second, third, and fourth. And so when you go to vote, if the way that they did it when they were hand counted was you got all these pieces of paper and they would go into their own ballot boxes. So you would take your yellow ballot to the yellow box and your purple ballot to the purple box. And then those would go to separate locations to be counted. And each team just counts very quickly.
If you're one of the two people watching right now, or if you're watching us later on replay, I hope you made it to this segment. I think we should probably do this segment again.
Okay.
And make it first, because this is on the right track here. We need something that is, it just clicks. It's like the light bulb. It's easy. And they're already doing this in Puerto Rico, y'all. So this is so much. I mean, compare these ballots to our ballots. I mean, for crying out loud, what is wrong with us here? Can't we do something, at least semi-top level around here? I love this, dude, and we're going to do this. I think we have two faithful watchers from what I'm seeing. Thank you, whoever you are out there. Shoot us a chat in the comments if you want to before we wrap it up. But I just want to, this is probably our longest piece. It was supposed to be our shortest, and it's our longest. So we might as well just marathon it on out of here. But I think we should wrap it up. For the two people who are still watching, we're going to leave you with a musical treat, followed then by a encore of the National Treasure Open that we worked on yesterday for a while. And because you two made it here, we're going to play it for you again because we think it's really cool. Anything else, dude?
Yeah, no, I want to say thank you because I've tried to explain to people how this election gets counted, how it would be hand counted. And it's been hard when I tell them, well, you don't have as many races on the ballot. And then I'm not allowed to finish. So thank you for letting me show you this.
Go ahead and finish. I mean, we're at an hour and 45 minutes in. So finish by all means.
I meant that when I'm asked a question and I tell them, well, first of all, there's not as many questions on the ballot, and they look away. But this is how they solve that issue. They have multiple pages, and then they get put away in their car. And they each get a box, and then those boxes are counted, and they're given priority. So your governor is one of the ones that would be counted first. That's a high interest race because everybody wants to know who the governor is when they wake up, and they start by in order of priority of just interest. At the top, what you would consider a top of a ticket gets counted first, and you have results by election night and of those major races. And so, yeah.
Great. So what we need to do is we need to do that segment again and tighten it up. We need to tighten it up. Make it really presentation worthy, dude, because I really like it. I do. I love it. And and I was a participant in the Cherokee method, but I like the Puerto Rican method.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a hybrid that can come out of that. I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, color coordinated with pictures for most of us, right? Right?
Yeah. Like for primaries, if we do the presentation again, I'll show you the primary ballots. That each race gets its own page and everybody's pictures on them.
Yeah. It's easy for the voters. It's easy for the counters. And
yeah, I mean, there's a trade-off. There's a trade-off because there's more pages. There's more pages.
But you keep those races organized, and you're just counting these races. You're just counting this race. You're counting El Presidente race.
Yeah.
To me, it just makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
But here, since what happened last week has hit the news and it's all over, we showed Bannon at the beginning of the show. Everybody's talking about it, what happened in Fulton County. We did the MAGA struck video and we dialed in on the stolen election of 2020, the COVID scam, the election sham of 2020. Okay. We dialed in on that in the MAGA struck music video, and I remastered it. I remastered the video. There's a couple minor mistakes in this, but they're fast. But I wanted to go ahead and just play that and then close out the show with the National Treasure Open that we opened with. We'll close it with that. Is that cool?
Cool, dude. Yeah.
All right. So you two people who are watching, thank you, and enjoy this.
And we wrote this song together.
Yeah, we wrote it. Well, AC/DC wrote it. We parodied it.
Okay, they wrote the music and we wrote the lyrics together.
Well, I took the music and we re-performed the music. We actually did re-perform it in the studio, a little bit of it. So we layered it in. Here we go.
We were stung by the COVID election scam. We all could see Biden's win when it was all a sham. The fake news lied, covered up, it's what they're paid to do. And we knew
Welcome to hard times.
that the deep state had us all
As I stand here tonight,
the sound of the fraud
We had safe, secure, honest
and
elections.
losing our rights.
Let's go with me. You're burning me.
Swap teams and raids.
I have not yet begun to
The
fight.
jailed patriots still fight.
And they're not coming for me and Trump, they're coming for you.
We're all now MAGA struck.
Not everybody dislikes him. We love him here. As people, we love Trump.
We searched the country, finding proof, yeah, proof of the steal. Proved it in Georgia, yeah, Georgia, where the swamp is for real.
That did not happen because it cannot happen.
We flushed out the rhino
be transparent in our election.
Blocked us and led us astray. Can't let us fall. Chris Carr had no balls, and Raffy just stalls, lies, and hides all the fraud. Now they're shaking at the knees.
Let's look at the paper ballot.
Just try and steal it again, please.
Then show us the ballot.
Gonna break their machine.
The way you win is to swamp them.
Gonna swamp them. MAGA struck. MAGA struck. Yeah, MAGA struck. Yeah, MAGA struck.
We never want what happened in 2020 to happen again. We are going to protect the vote. That's the most important thing we have to do.
Traitors bound for the brig. We'll make this too big to rig. Gonna swamp them.
We're going to swamp them. I think we're going to swamp them. They're cheaters. They're dirty, rotten cheaters. Swamp them. If we swamp them, they can't cheat. Look, the way you win is to swamp them.
I was a Trump hater. Trump is a man for the job.
Biden and Obama, suckers.
Trump, bro. Trump all day, bro.
Put the truth out there.
MAGA struck. MAGA struck.
Everybody was better off under Trump.
MAGA
If
struck.
you keep voting left, you'll have nothing left.
MAGA struck.
The best is yet to come.
Yes, and yeah. We still fight. Gonna stand for our rights.
Trump, we're down.
Gonna drain the swamp.
Make them work for us.
Beat the cheat.
We're kind of strong.
Vote for Trump. And swamp us.
Let Trumpomania run wild.
You must vote.
Let Trumpomania rule again.
No excuses.
Make America great
We got a
again.
country to save. You like me? You're MAGA struck. It's your basic civic duty, man. You're MAGA struck. Did you hear me? You're MAGA struck. I can't hear you. You gotta vote. You're MAGA struck. You're MAGA struck. You're MAGA struck. We have to swamp the vote. Everyone. Vote MAGA. Vote Trump. Got it? Got it.
Got it.
All right. Good night, dude.
Good night, dude.
Stay close. This place is ancient. Look at these statues. They're everywhere. Keep your torches high. Watch for traps. Incredible. It's perfectly preserved. I wonder what secrets you hold.
The Library of Alexandria. These are the actual scrolls. The detail is incredible. Lost to time.
I found the jackpot!
This could change everything we know.
Everyone get in here now! Forget about that. Look at this over here.
Oh my God, it's the Ark of the Covenant!
Forget about that. We want those 2020 ballots. Move quickly. Got to get this open. Come on, you stubborn thing.
Paper ballots is the key. Yeah, paper ballots is the key.